Hey, everybody. It's 7:02. It's time to grandstand. I hope that you have your favorite snack and your favorite beverage because it's about to go down on grandstanding with Mother Theresa. Call your friends, your co-workers. Let them know that they need to tune in tonight. Hey, Mom. Hey, Candace. Hey, honey. And everybody else that's joined me. Why don't you tell me hello so I'll know that you're out here? All right? Let me know that you're watching, that you're listening. Hey, Miracle. Hey, honey. All right, everybody. So glad to have everybody with me on tonight for Grandstanding with Mother Theresa. Listen, everybody, I just want to let you all know how much I really appreciate you all tuning in to watch this young lady from the oldest town in Texas, the other Mother Theresa. Thank you all for watching. Not only do I want to thank you all for watching, but I want to thank you all for being consistent with your watching, consistent with your tuning in, because there is several of you all that are on here tonight. I can almost guarantee that you're going to be here unless something else has come up. And then for all of my other watchers who are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram, you all are blowing me away with the numbers of people that are actually watching. And let me just tell you all, number one, that I notice that when I do the little minute, just a moment with Mother Theresa, and I break these segments up to like 30 seconds or 60-second little clips, the numbers are crazy, you all. I'm just blown away with the number of people who are actually watching and will save it and then will share it. You all, that makes my heart just so glad. They may not watch the full episode because guess what? We're in this, we live in a today's society where we want a quick word and we're going on to the next thing. A quick word and we're going on. They don't have time to listen to the full 45 minutes. But I did have someone to ask, where is the rest of this message? I would like to hear it. So, yes, hey, Net. So, yes. So thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you all so very much for watching me and for tuning in and for liking it and for sharing it. I really appreciate it. Well, let's just get down to business, you all. I know that this 30 or 45 minutes will go by so fast, and I will not get a chance to say everything that I have to say. But I want you all to say, hi, new friends. That's right, Candace. Hi, new friends. I just want you all to know how much I appreciate you all, because I definitely appreciate you all. And my faithful listeners like Sister Sherry, I just love you all, love you all, love you all. You all mean so very much to me. The consistent people, I thank you all. The Bible talks about despise not small beginnings, and you all, I am claiming bigger and better. Bigger and better. I just got off the phone call with another sister of mine, and sister in Christ, just a dear, sweet lady that believes in the Lord and loves the Lord. And she was just telling me that I have sown. Now it's time for me to reap the harvest. And so I'm taking all of that in, you all, and I am just believing that God is about to do some miraculous things, not only in my life, but in the lives of his people. So you all, don't get tired. Don't get tired now. We've got to hang in there. We've got to be steadfast, because guess what? We may fall down, but we get back up again. And that's what I'm going to talk about tonight, you all. when we fall down, a lot of times we think that we have failed, that we are out of the game, that the game is over. But let me just tell you all that when we fall, it is not about failure, because see, the thing about it is that if we fall, we can choose to just lay there. We can choose to not get back up. But most of the time, we're going to get back up. And falling is not an indication of failure, but it's really evidence that you're still fighting. So I want you all to know that, hey, you did not just fall and you did not just sit there. I think my friend Tina is on tonight. Tina Babs, that is. So I want you to know that the word of God says in Proverbs 24:16, for though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. And that is the joy in knowing that when we fall, we get back up again. Okay? We get back up again. So tonight I want to talk about resilience, redemption, and the grace to begin again. I want to encourage you all that falling is okay. We're all going to fall at some point in our lives. But what we want to talk about is the getting back up part. Because see, we can get stuck on the fall. We can get stuck on the fact that we have fallen. And when I'm talking about falling, I'm talking about both in the natural sense and the spiritual sense. And I'm also talking about, I've been on this since the fall season has started. I've been on this series of talking or using the word fall in the conversations or the segments that I've had for the month of October. I know some of you all picked that up, but just in case you didn't, all of my topics for the month of October has had the word fall in the title. So we fall down, but we get back up again. I want you to understand that we've all had some moments that life has knocked us down, whether it be in our finances, in our relationships, even in our faith. Because sometimes, we can get to a point in our lives where even our faith may be shaken. And as long as I've been saved, as long as I have been a born again believer since the age of 18 years old, and I am 61 years old now, I can tell you that there have been some times in my life, and I thank God it has not been very often and it didn't last very long, where my faith was shaken, where I just thought, you know what, God, I know I love you and I know that you love me. But right now, I'm not feeling that mutual love. And it wasn't because of anything that the Lord had done, but it was something that I had did. Okay. And, oh, yes, I'll tell them about your book. I'm going to tell them about it, Tina. My friend Tina is on. I thought that was you, Tina. But let's talk about the times where, thank you. If you can leave that open just a little bit, I appreciate it. Falling, I want you to know, it doesn't disqualify you. It doesn't knock you out of the race, so to speak, but it just lets us know that we're human. Remember, I said we can fall in our finances, we can fall in our faith, we can even fall in our relationships, even in the confidence that we have in ourselves, and even in our confidence in others. But one of the things I like to say, that sometimes in our lives, God has to shake some things up in order for things to be straightened out. And sometimes when we fall physically, we may lose our footing. We may fall and lose our footing, or we may almost fall by losing our footing. But another thing that I want you all to understand is that as you begin to fall, if you're losing your footing, guess what you're trying to do? You're trying to regain your composure. Am I right? So you're trying to steady yourself. You're trying to get yourself together where you will not necessarily take that fall. And so what is happening is that although the fall was about to happen, you begin to regain your composure. And that's what I'm talking about, is that we have to learn that when we fall or when we almost fall, there is a purpose for it. Sometimes we fall because God is trying to get our attention, okay? He needs us to get back to where he needs us to be. And sometimes you all, it just takes us to fall. It takes us to fall, like I said, in a certain area in our lives so God can get our attention. Sometimes we can get so caught up in who we are or what we have or the things that we think that we can do without God. And he said, oh no, let me just remind you. Let me remind you of who you are and who I am, okay? And so he gives us a little, uh-oh, I've fallen. And like the commercials say, I've fallen and I can't get up, but we've fallen and we do get back up. There's also a song about we fall down, but we get up because a saint is just a sinner who has fallen down. And so I want y'all to understand is that sometimes society will celebrate or they take put a lot of emphasis on being able to stand, being able to always have it together. But we have to know that in order for us to really, really understand the true power of God and who we serve, y'all, if we were to never ever fall, we would not understand the strength that he has. Okay? Because if we were always standing, if we were always had it going on, and if we never fell fell down to our knees or fell flat on our face, guess what? Falling to me is about faith. Because if I fall, I've got to have some faith that I can get back up again. I've got to have faith that if I fall, that God is going to allow me to get back up, but then he's going to not only allow me to get back up, but he's going to establish me. He's going to make sure that some things that caused me to fall, maybe I needed to take a look at some things, like I said, of what I was doing in my life. Hello, my other friend, Tina. I love my Tinas that come on here. Yes. He has to let me know that falling really is a part of my faith walk. I have in my notes, it said Peter sank, David sinned, Elijah hid, but God still called them. God calls each and every one of us for a season, a reason, for a purpose, for the destiny. He's called each and every one of us. But guess what, you all? Sometimes we fall even though we've been called. And I would say especially when we've been called. Because a lot of times things will come upon us and we have to show God that first of all, that we're serious. We are serious. And one of the things that we have to understand, I said that when we fall, sometimes we think that we're being punished or whatever. And it's not necessarily that you're being punished. You are being positioned. You are being positioned for your destiny. And sometimes some of us will say, I don't know what my destiny is. I don't even know what my call is. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing in my life. Okay? How many of you all have said that same thing? I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what God called me to do. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't know. And so sometimes that causes us to fall because we're trying to do this and we're trying to do that. And we're stumbling around and our footing is not sure. Our footing is not stable. So it causes us to fall. You know, I talked about earlier, I said that I know that there have been some struggles in my life. And I'm going to just say this. I'm not the only one, okay? There have been some times where I know that we probably all thought that we messed up so bad that there was no way that we could recover, that there was no way that we could absolutely come back from the thing that we had gotten ourselves involved in, or something that we had done, or an activity that we just knew Hey, first of all, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be participating in this. I know my mom taught me better. I know my dad taught me better. I know my grandparents have taught me well. I know the pastor, the preacher, my family is dependent on me. And here I am out here doing this, and you fall. Okay? But let me tell you that there is nothing that you have done so horrible that you cannot bounce back from. God is, He's going to welcome us all. No matter what we have done, you all, no matter how hard and how low that we think that we have fallen. Okay? Because what has actually happened is that when we fall, I would like to say we've fallen into the hand of God's grace. And when you fall into the hand of God's grace, there is mercy, there is forgiveness, there is all of those things that we think that we don't deserve. Okay? See, we are concentrating and we're so hung up on the fall that we don't see the grace that comes with the fall. We don't see the love and the redemption that God has for us as He allows us to get back up again. Okay? It's easy to fall. Okay? It's easy to fall because a lot of times, and I'm speaking of in the natural sense, because a lot of times when you fall, it is something that happens unexpectedly. Sometimes you have no control over the fall. You're walking along and all of a sudden something causes you to fall. So it's easy to fall, you all. But it's hard sometimes to get back up because sometimes some of us has gotten a little bit older. We're a little bit weaker. We're a little bit heavier. We're not as strong as we used to be. And so we are not like those little young kids that are babies that when they fall, they can jump back up. No, sometimes when we fall, you all, we may break a bone, God forbid, but we may struggle to get back up. We may actually need some help from another person to get back up. We may actually need a chair or something to brace ourselves on for us to get back up. But just know, regardless of what we need, whatever physical or whatever aids that we may actually have to have, we get back up. Speaking of babies, I said something about babies when they are falling, when they're learning to walk. Guess what they do all the time? Somebody put it in the chat. Okay? When babies are learning to walk, what do? What do they do? Position for your destiny. Thank you, honey. When babies are learning to walk, they fall. They fall. But guess what? They don't just fall and just decide to, hey, I'm not going to try this again. They get back up and they wobble and they try it again. They keep falling, but they get back up and they try it again. All right? So I want you all to know that falling actually is building the muscles of their babies. That's right, Tina. They're actually building the muscles in those babies. And we get stronger. That's right. That's right, y'all. Y'all on it tonight. We get stronger by trying again. By not just staying there, but we get back up again. We get back up again. You may have fallen, but you didn't fail. You are learning, you are healing, and you are being refined. Let me ask you all, I said that I know that I have fallen. Have some of you all fallen? Think about that. What did your last fall teach you about about yourself, about your strength, and about your faith? Because see, I know I'm not the only one who have struggled in my faith. I know I'm not the only one who have struggled in my relationship. All right? Hello there, Anthony. Hello there, nephew. We don't call you Anthony, we call you something else. But hello, this is my sister Dorothy's son. Hello there. I'm glad that you are listening to me on tonight. But see, we don't fall and we don't learn anything, okay? Because when you fall, you're actually learning something. So the last fall that you had, Tina said went to prison, okay? Yes. What did it teach you? You may have went to prison, like Tina said, but what did it teach you about yourself? What did it teach you about the strength? What did it teach you about your faith? And Tina has a wonderful testimony about when she went to prison. That's when her faith was really ignited. That's when her faith was really ignited. And Tina tells this story about her fall, but she got back up. And Tina Babs, allowed me to partner with her to tell her story from prison to praise. And I thought I had my book right here with me. I think it may be in the bedroom or somewhere if my honey can find it. But Tina tells a beautiful story. It's on Amazon, from prison to praise. And she talks about her life journey, her struggles, her fall, okay? And she tells it so beautifully. And thank you, Tina, for allowing me to be a part of that. And you can pick it up on Amazon for $14.99. Y'all go there and y'all support Tina, okay? God never wastes a fall in our lives, you all. He never, ever wastes a fall. Every setback can actually become a setup. And see, that's what Tina Books talks about, is that her fall was actually a setup for her. And so many of you all think about your falls being your failure, okay? Your fall being a failure, okay? Oh, Net says she has the book. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, Net. Tina, I was going to show your book, but I had ordered it, but my daughter has it. She's reading it. But see, sometimes we think about our falls being a failure, but it's not a failure, you all. It's a setup for us to come back, come back. And you don't have to earn your comeback, because guess what? Grace is our permission slip. I already talked about his mercy and his grace. Getting up doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It means choosing not to stay where you fall. When shame says stay down, when shame tells you to stay down there, okay, because you are ashamed, you are embarrassed. Because a lot of times when we fall, guess what's happening with the people around us? Some people are laughing, some people are giggling. Not everybody is running to try to help you, okay? Sometimes the shame of falling will make you want to lay there and stay down there. But then grace whispers to us and tells us to get up. It tells us to get up from there. You've got work to do, okay? Your comeback doesn't have to be loud. It just has to be consistent, okay? It just has to be consistent, you all. Because let me just tell you, we talked about falling and the natural stance. But how many of you all have fallen as it relates to, hey, Cousin Renita and Cousin Bev, Cousin Juicy? How many of you all have fallen in a state where maybe you've been embarrassed by something? You didn't physically fall, but you have been shamed by something that you've done. Because remember, like I said, a fall doesn't have to be a physical fall. But sometimes we can work ourselves in a situation where we're embarrassed by the situation where we were, or where we currently are, or we used to be in, and we allow shame to try to keep us there. We will allow shame to try to make us think that, oh, I can't go back to that place. I can't go back to church because I did something that I knew was wrong. Or I can't go back to this, to hang with this group of friends because I did something that I was shameful of. And so that shame will try to make you stay right there. Don't go back to church, because guess what? I did something so horrible that I can't ever show my face again. And sometimes you all, we think that the things that we have done is so very bad that we cannot show our face in public. And now, and that's truthful. Some people will stay in the house for months. They don't want to go outside because first of all, they think everybody know their business. Well, hey, if you didn't put it on Facebook, we ain't gonna know your business. But we can think that we cannot go back to certain places because of the shame. But you all, don't let the devil trick you like that. Please don't let the devil trick you like that. Because let me just tell you, so many of us in our lives, guess what? We are due for a comeback. It's time for us to just shake ourselves off. Like I said, sometimes we got to fall and so God can straighten some things out. Oh, yes, yes, yes. We got to straighten some things. God's got to straighten some things out in our lives. So it's time for us to have a comeback. And guess what? When you have a comeback, you're not coming back to the same old thing. You're not coming back to the same old mess that you left. You should be coming back wiser, stronger, sometimes even softer. But when you come back, you are not coming back the same way that you left. God will sometimes use the very thing that tripped you up to train you, to elevate you. That very same thing that tripped you up and made you fall, whether it was spiritual, whether it was a natural fall, or whatever, financial fall, he can use that very same thing that caused you to fall to be the thing that's going to train you and set you up for a magnificent comeback. Because let me just tell you, a lot of times when people think about, even with business sense and in businesses, they think about how many businesses have you started and failed? How many ideas have you thought about and failed? But guess what? You keep going. You come up with another business idea. You come up with another creative idea. You come up with something else. And you keep going. It talks about, I think I heard something about success is not the number of times, and I know I'm probably getting this wrong, but it talks about the number. It has something to do with success and winning and failure and all of that. But what I'm trying to get from it, or what I'm trying to share with you all, is that you don't ever give up. You don't give up. You keep coming back. You keep coming back. You determine how you can make it better. You may have to tweak a thing. Guess what? For the inventors out there, you were trying to invent something and patent something, and you had to go through many stages of the process in trying to get it together. So you would have to tweak it. You would have to do something over here. But what you're doing is you have to modify it a little bit here, modify it a little bit there, and then you resubmit it. And then eventually you got it. Eventually you got it. So I want you all to understand that you are not behind schedule. You are right on time for restoration. Did you hear what I said? You are not behind schedule, you all. God is always on time. It may not be on our timetable, but you are not behind schedule. You are right on time for his restoration. I said on my paper, I said every rise requires release. I need you to let go of the guilt, let go of the regret, and let go of what people think. Because let me just tell you all, if we're going on what people think of us and what people think about us, we'll never get up. We will stay down. We will dig a hole deeper in the ground, and we will bury ourselves in that ground if we're waiting, if we're depending, and we're thinking about, what do the people think about me? Listen, it doesn't matter what the people think, okay? Did you hear what I said? It doesn't matter what the people think about you. What matters is what you think and what God knows. So listen, you don't worry about that, okay? It's Joel 2:25 says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten. Okay? So in other words, don't worry about what people think, okay? Hey, Amanda, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Absolutely, you are right. You are right. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Y'all let that sink in. You're not behind schedule. You are right on time for his restoration. Yes, yes, absolutely. Whew. My comeback is God's glory story. Because you know what, you all, we have some stories. But when our story gets God's glory, that's something to think about. Because everything that we do, everything that I aim to do, I want to represent God well. I want to represent Christ well. So I want my life to be a reflection of what I know and what I expect and what I think that God expects from me. So I know that there are going to be many, many times in our lives that we're going to fall. And you all, there are going to be some times in your life that you will fall. There have been times in your life that you have fallen. But you get back up again. Not because we're perfect, but because grace refuses to let us lay on the ground. God isn't counting our falls, you all. He's counting our faith. And remember, I said that if we fall, I look at falling as a faith walk. I've got to have the faith that I can get back up again. Okay? So as I leave, it's time. My time is over. I want you all to know, I'm going to make some declarations. I'm not disqualified. I'm being developed. So as we are falling in whatever capacity in our lives, you're not disqualified. You're being developed. Every time, this is personal. Every time I fail, I learned how to stand taller. All right? Every time I fail, I learned how to stand taller. Grace got me up, and peace will keep me going. Peace and mercy is going to keep me going. And guess what, you all? I may fall again, but rest assured, I'm not going to stay down. And I hope that that is your declaration. And I hope that that is something that you all can take away with you all on tonight, is that we may fall, but we don't have to stay there. Okay? So Lord God, I thank you. I thank you for never leaving us in our lowest moments. Thank you for catching us, for teaching us, for lifting us higher than before. Help us to rise in our faith, forgiveness, and courage, knowing that our best days are still ahead. So I want to leave you all with that on tonight. And here's some more things that I want to leave you all with, okay? Is that when we are falling, when we fall, you all, I need you all to learn. First of all, know that you're going to fall. You are. I would be lying to you if I told you that you were not. But I need you all to start making some emergency plans, okay? I need you all to start making some care plans that when you fall, You already have a way of escape. You already have your plan mapped out for you, that you know exactly what to do. And the first thing you're going to not do is worry about what people say, okay? Make the declaration is that even though I may fall, I will be able to get back up again. And one last thing, as we're getting back up again, what I want you all to know, um, tell your people to share my book. Okay, Tina said share your book. Share her book. Tell the people to share the book. Speaking of falling and speaking of encouragement, one of the things I want you all to know, I released Get Soul Notes the month of October. You all, so many of you all have gotten the Get Soul Notes, whether it was a gifted plan, whether it's a paid plan. I want you all to understand that you do not have to do this all alone. Okay? You don't have to do this all alone. Let me just tell you, I have something for you that can come to your cell phone every single day at 9 o'clock. And it's called Get Soul Notes. The Soul Notes is just a quick word of encouragement that comes from me every single day. Like I said, about 9 o'clock. It only costs $7.99 for a $7.99 per month. $7.99 per month. And you can get it for yourself or you can gift it to someone else. If you have a family of 3, you can get it for $10.99 per month, okay? $10.99 per month. If you would like some assistance in being able to navigate the system, what I want you all to do is send me a text. Tell me, Mother Theresa, I've been trying to download or get Soul Notes. I'm not getting it. I need your help. Go to www.getsoulnotes.com. Okay, don't forget to put the www in there. Getsoulnotes.com. You have to go in there. You have to register first. Then it brings you right back and then you pick your plan. You all, listen. I want you all to help a sister out. Okay? Help a sister out. And I would be so very glad that you all have helped to support me. Okay? We got to be helpers one to another, so I appreciate you all. Listen, you all have a great night. You all have a great night. Thank you all again for being here with us on tonight. Thank you all for being here. And what I want you all to know is that I appreciate you all so very much. Tina, I'm going to help you out. Thank you all so very much for coming in, listening to what I have to say. Listen, share this. If it blessed you, share it with somebody else. Because guess what? People are falling every day. And I'm not talking about as people just to read what's going on. But anyway, my internet is going in and out. But I want you all to know that even if you fall, you don't have to stay down there. And since my internet is messing up, I'm going to go ahead and cut it off on tonight. Listen, you all, I appreciate you all. And as my sister Cynthia will say, is that good night, grandstanders. I hope that you all have had a great night with me on tonight, because I've definitely enjoyed you all on tonight. All right? Y'all keep standing. Keep standing. That's another song too. I think it says, I'm still standing. Yay, yay, yay. Keep standing, everybody. This is Mother Theresa, and I will see you all on the next time. Bye-bye, everybody. I see where my mom said, new beginning. Thank you, my other sister, Tina McLaughlin. Thank you. I hope this was good teaching on tonight. All right, everybody. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye.